everybody. This week, I am so excited to talk with Heather Johnson. Welcome, Heather. I'm so glad you're here. So
Thanks.
Heather is the food hussy, and you gave yourself that name. I'm not giving you that name, but I know you see it as positive. I love that. I hope you'll share that with us. But she's also the author of, I'm looking down at my notes to get it right. I love my air fryer cookbook for one. I love that. Beautiful, beautiful book.
Yep.
You've got a really amazing story about how you progressed into becoming a full-time blogger and some really cool things that you've done since then. And I'm so excited to talk to you because we haven't spoken with a food blogger before. So will you share your journey with us and tell people kind of how you came to the place where you are today?
Sure. So I moved to Cincinnati from Iowa 19 years ago. And when I moved here, I didn't know anybody. And so I started eating out quite a bit and decided, like, I saw some other restaurant review blogs and I thought, well, I could do that. I have a journalism degree and it was just sort of a hobby. So for years, it was just restaurant reviews. And it was very hyper local. And I would go to events and things like that. But then I started adding recipes in here and there. My dad always cooked, and so I knew how to cook. And I sort of added in recipes and sprinkled them in, all the while working full time, working in marketing and advertising. I mean, I've worked in that for 25 years. And then I was with a friend of mine. Her name is Stephanie. She blogs at Plain Chicken, and she's she's a large food blogger. And we were on a little vacation and she said, "Is this a job or a hobby?" And I was like,
switched for you.
I was like, well, I'd like it to be a job. And she goes, then you got to treat it like a job. Like, she's just very matter of fact and like does not mince words. And I was like, oh, and she's like, yeah. And so that sort of changed it for me. And I was still doing restaurant reviews. And she's like, are you making money? By that point, I think I was on Mediavine by then. This was probably 5 years ago. But I wasn't making that much money. And she's like, are you making money on restaurant reviews? And I was like, no. And she's like, then why are you doing them? She's like, this is a job. And then we realized that, like, the restaurant reviews, Google sees me as having like a knowledge on restaurants. Right. So I started doing some copycat recipes, and that knowledge that Google views as far as like I'm an expert at eating out, I guess.
That's not a bad thing to be an expert in.
I know. But they kind of like favored my copycat recipes. I was doing other stuff, but the copycat recipes were kind of bubbling to the top. And I think it was because, I mean, Google didn't call and tell me, but I think it was because of the fact that I had so many restaurant reviews for years. Right. And so I started, putting more effort into it. And it was really a mindset shift that took me from making, like $80 a month to making a couple $1,000s a month to now, now I'm on AdThrive. I'm making 6 figures a year. And and I've quit my job 2 years ago this summer. And I made 6 figures at my job. So like to quit a 6-figure day job is not easy. I mean, that's a lot. Right. Right. I worked 25 years to get to that spot, but I went a whole year of blogging full-time and working full-time and banked all that money and was like, wow, okay, I'm leaving.
Wow. So that had to be hard. So you just came home after working a full day and you were like, I'm going to work another full day in the same 24-hour period.
Yeah, I would work nights.
How long did you have to do that?
I mean, I would say I did both jobs full-time probably for 3 years.
Wow.
I mean, it was nights and weekends. So,
right.
But I mean, I put full-time effort into it. I started, and that was kind of before I knew about SEO. I wish I'd, known about SEO then, but it was just like, Stephanie also helped me get on a schedule. Like a lot of people I talk to, they don't have a schedule. and I have a calendar. And once I made that, especially with food blogs, because people think they go, oh, you just wake up and go, what do I want to cook today?
That's not the way
No,
it works.
it's not the way any of it works. And it's like, so I started planning ahead and have a calendar of what I'm going to cook and when it's going to go live. And once I did that, it changed everything. Like it made my life so much simpler because I didn't wake up today and go, what am I going to cook today? I woke up and I was like, oh, I've got onion tarts on the menu. Like that's got to be live next Wednesday. So I got to make it today.
You had
So,
a plan.
yeah. And
Exactly what
I
you're
started
doing.
kind of seeing what bubbled to the top in terms of the recipes I was doing. And Stephanie also turned me on to the air. She's been my mentor, like Plain Chicken. Love her so
I
much.
love that.
Um, she's been my mentor and she got me turned on to the air fryer because I hated the Instant Pot. I thought that thing, I threw it away. Like I hated it. But she was like, you got to try an air fryer. And so I got one and I was like, this is the best thing ever. And I got obsessed with my air fryer. And so I started doing copycat and air fryer. And I was like, that's going to be my focus. And then I got a Traeger, a wood smoker grill.
Okay.
And I started doing those and that picked up really well. And I still am very strong in that. So I sort of kind of focus on those three things. I do other things randomly, but I try to do like a Traeger or a whatever on Mondays. I do a copycat on Wednesday and I do an air fryer on Friday. And I go live with those 3 posts every week. And now I'm also fixing all my old stuff. I'm trying to fix 20 to 20. Oh, your program, like you got me all like that was another thing. Like once I figured that schedule out and I went through your program and I'd already kind of done all the posts that were like in the 4 to 10 range on Google. I'd already done those and updated them, but I have all these old ones that like they could probably have a good keyword if I had just known about keywords.
Right.
I had 1,500 blog posts and like maybe, 300 were good. And then there was just this load of garbage. And so rather than just start over and scrap them all, I'm like, I parsed all these ones. I'd had them kind of in a category of need to revamp. And I parsed them out by month. So I have my whole schedule for the year 2023 because of you.
Oh, yay.
I'm doing 20 to 25 recipes a month. I'm a little behind.
A lot.
That's a lot. Well,
you're feeding the neighbors.
It's especially a lot when like 5 to 10 of them have to be remade. Like I have to look up, like I found a quiche recipe that the quiche wasn't anything. And like, it was nobody's looking up spring quiche, but then I found mini vegetable quiche. And so I was like, well, quiche. So that, and so, but I had to like remake the whole recipe. So
you have to also take photos again, right?
I had to scrap the whole blog post, basically just deleted it and kept the URL and then create a recipe, take pictures, make it,
that
edit.
URL is invaluable, especially if it's an old one, right? So hopefully you'll see a increase in traffic quickly.
That's what I'm hoping too, is so of like 20 to 25 recipes, I would say about half of them are fairly quick updates, but then about half have to be redone, like big overhauls. And so I'm doing my 3 new posts a week, plus that overhauling of 20 to 25 from learning in your class. But just having that, even like, it made my life so much easier because like I don't have to look and see what am I going to update this month? What do I need to read? I go, nope, I got my list. And I use Clarity, which is an amazing tool by the folks at Food Blogger Pro and Pinch of Yum. It has just, I didn't have to do the big spreadsheet at the beginning of your class because I was like, nope, I got Clarity, I got it done.
Good.
Having that combined with yours and setting up projects for every month and assigning all my posts, like just having a schedule and a plan just changed everything. Like it makes my life so much easier. Like I know exactly what I'm going to do every day.
I love that. I love when you wake up in the morning and you don't have to spend an hour going, what did I forget to do? What do I need to do next? And then when you start doing it, you're like, am I working on the right thing? You don't have to do that anymore.
Because I just know what's coming up, and I know like every time I buy groceries, I'm like, okay, these are the next 3 recipes. So these are the next 3 sets of groceries that I have to get. And I have automated like messages pop up in my phone for like creating emails for the week and
Nice.
buffer for creating my social media posts for the week. It's like I was forgetting to do them. And so I was like, nope, just set reminders in your phone. So it's in there and I have that on my schedule. But the nice thing is being my own boss is yes, I know what I'm going to do and I know what I need to do, but I still have the flexibility to take a nap.
Right. I love it.
With my dog.
Oh, how sweet. Oh,
My baby. I mean, but that's the thing. Like Mondays, I get my nails done. There's lemons on them. You can't see but there's lemons. But I get my nails done on Monday. Every other Monday, I get my nails done. So it's like I still have the flexibility to go do what I want. Or like last week was mulching and planting week here at the house, and I live alone, so it was all me. Dogs are not very good at planting flowers. Cats are good at digging them up, but they're not good at planting. So, I mean, when it's all you have to have some flexibility in it. But like just having that schedule and plan has just made all the difference, and niching down. So it's like when I do my keyword research, I know exactly what I'm looking for. In Copycat, I look up Traeger and I do 1 day of research and get a bunch of ideas. And then when I'm ready to plan, I just go to my list of ideas, pick it out, start writing, and I go.
So let's talk about, now you did something pretty cool. I think it's pretty cool. I feel like, wow, I know somebody who was on TV. You did Guys Grocery Games.
Yes.
Now, did you do that before you niched down, before you were full-time?
No.
Or was that something recently?
No, that was after. So I got a call in 2021 from a casting person. I got a message on Instagram and they said, we think you look like a guy, like you're a Guy Fieri super fan. Because I had gone on a Carnival cruise and I said I went specifically because Guy's Burgers is on the cruise. And they were doing an episode with home cooks and super fans. And so I went through the audition process and I got cast on the show, and I got to fly out to California and I got to, hang out with Guy for a day on the set. And I won $20,000, which is never a bad thing. So, I mean, it was definitely bucket list, like best day of my life. I mean, I got to be on Food Network. I mean, how can you win or lose? It was the best day ever because Guy Fieri tasted my sandwich and said he thought it was better than his. I was like, wow. Good. I cried so many times too. My friends are like, Heather, I was a sob fest. And then one time in the episode, I had cut up these poblano peppers and then I rubbed my eye. And then I was crying from the peppers. And that's when Antonia, the guest host, was like, now you're crying because of the peppers. And I was like, yeah. It was so funny. It was the best day. And I'm still friends with the 3 other people I was on with. We've kept in touch and, we're still like buddies and stuff like that. So yeah, it was just amazing. Amazing.
Great. So did your book come out before that? When did your book come out?
My book came out after. So I filmed that episode in January of 22, but it didn't air until August of 22. So I had to keep that secret for
You had to keep it a secret?
Yeah, I had to keep it a secret. This big mouth had to keep a secret for 8 months. I told 2 people. I couldn't. I had to tell someone. So, but then I got approached in about April to do a cookbook. And I was approached to do an air fryer cookbook. It's by a company that they kind of come up with a series of cookbooks. So it was nice for me because they do all the work. Like they do all the publishing, they do all the marketing. I basically am just contributing the recipes and like a bit of the writing beforehand.
Oh, that's easy.
So, yeah, it was.
Did you have to go on like tours, like tours or anything?
No, and I didn't have to take any pictures either. So
that was easy. Easy.
Well, it was 175 recipes, and I had to make them, create them, write them, test them, and everything like that. So it took about 2 months, and I had to sort of like.
It?
Well, I was doing it full time. I kind of set my blog aside and was like, okay, it'll make money on its own. Like I have to like take a break and do this. And so it took me 2 months, but then it took them like we published in January of this year. And you
Okay.
can get it on Amazon or Barnes and Noble.
We'll put the link for it in the show notes below. Yay.
Yeah, it's great. And it was funny because they wanted me to do cooking for one. They're like, that's the next book in the series. And I was like, well, I'm alone, so sure.
It works great.
Yeah. So that's been really exciting too, because now I have a cookbook with my name on it.
Right.
They asked me to do another one. I was like, no, I'm good.
Oh, really? So that's what I was going to ask you. Do you think, so the cookbook, was it a bucket list? Were you expecting it to add a significant portion to your income stream? Was it,
So
I was going to say, is it something you do again? But you're like, no.
Actually they approached Stephanie and she was like, no thanks. And so she was like, but I have just the girl for you. And so they approached me and so I set up that and they paid a flat fee up front and then I'll get residuals as the book goes on. And so I have no idea, like the money I made was fine. Like I can kind of consider the pay that I got for it. Like that's how much I got paid to do it.
Right.
And, you know, it took a couple months of my life. So I never really cared about having a cookbook, but I was like, oh, it's the opportunity. It's fun. It's cool. I can now say I have a cookbook. And you know, and I kind of consider any of the residual checks I get now will be like, woohoo, fun money. Those
The
are
cherry on top, right?
they'll be the vacation fund. But yeah, they approached me to do another one. I was like, nah, I'm good. It was
Do
a
you
lot
think
of
it
work.
was it just working with another company in that way? Like, would you ever self-publish a cookbook or
No.
no?
It's funny. Like it was just a lot of work and it wasn't like I enjoyed it and I'm glad I did it, but it's just not something I need to do again. It's sort of like too when people ask me, they'll be like, "Do you want to start your own restaurant?" And I was just like, "No."
That's a lot of
Ew.
work. There's a lot more work starting a restaurant than writing a cookbook.
But there's so much work and you have employees and health department and you have to leave your house. I'm like, no, I'm good. I cook at home and my dogs eat the food with me. Like, yeah, no. And I make way more than I would if I owned a restaurant. And I'm just like, yeah, no, I'm
And
good.
work less.
Yeah, exactly. So it's been really fun to like do all these crazy things and like get on, you know, to be on Food Network. That was a bucket list for sure, to have a cookbook now. And then like also I like to just mention too, like personally, I had some really tough stuff that I went through during that. Like I went through a divorce. My husband had addiction issues. And I mean, I had some really, really tough times during that. And it was like work kept me focused and
Right.
it gave me an outlet. It gave me a distraction. It gave me something to do. But like, I was a mess. Like I say, from hot mess express to six-figure success because
That
I
sounds like a
was,
new book title.
I know, I was a disaster and my home, like work was good, but then home was, I always joke that like either home is great and work is terrible or work is great and home is, it's never, you can never have them both up or both down. And I had home was way down and like, but I made it. Like I got through it and now I feel stronger and I am, you know, healthier and happier and you know, I'm single, but I'm on my own and I'm doing it. Like I did all my mulch this year by myself. I don't need no man to do my mulch. But it's rewarding and you know to know that I have my own career and that I don't need, you know, like I don't need anybody to take care of me. Like I have a nice house that I bought myself and I take care of it and like, you know, it's just very, I love the fact that it's empowering that I can do this and I'm my own boss and I can do what I want and make good money at it.
Right.
And learn still and pick up little tricks from Leslie and do better.
So what's next for you?
A nap. I'm going to Costa Rica in a couple weeks with a friend. She won a vacation from work and she gets to take a friend for free. So I was like,
So now we're gonna have like a Costa Rican food niche next on the site. You got to
No, but
start doing some reviews there
I'm excited to just go somewhere and not have to work.
and not work.
And I'm turning 50 this year.
Oh, happy birthday. I turn
Yeah.
50 next year. So yeah,
Oh,
I feel it.
it's my back, my eyes have gone. Like I wear my readers all the time. Like it's pitiful. But yeah, so I mean, I don't know what's next. I'd love to do more TV. I would love to do more Food Network. I've been on the local news a lot. That's something that's really easy to get on as far as is local news. I've been on 100 and sometimes, and I love it. So I think that's helped me to be able to be very comfortable in front of the camera. So I would love to do more TV. And I apply for little casting calls here and there. So that would be my dream. But
Do
for now,
you
I
think,
just want to make more money.
right? And so for you, the way to do that is just more recipes. Do you think is that the biggest? Is just the ad network the biggest revenue stream for you?
For me, my ad network is 95% of my income right now. I do have one client I do some work for that I organize influencers for them.
Mm-hmm.
But it's other food bloggers. So yay, Ohio pork. Everybody eat pork. Um, so I do that. But other than that, it's 90% ad revenue. I do a little bit of sponsored posts here and there, but I did hear about this new meal planning app that I'm going to look into that you can like upload your recipes and then people can sign up for a meal plan from you.
Oh wow.
Because I would like to identify kind of another revenue source to
Mm-hmm.
start bringing in case Google kind of, like poops on us. Um,
Right.
so I'd like to find another revenue source because I am on my own. And so it's a little, like I don't, dogs don't work. They don't get a paycheck. So
Right.
that's kind of in my plan is to try to figure some other side revenue. But right now I'm just riding the train.
So
And
what
I
do
do
you think?
more content. I try to do new content all the time because you never know what's going to hit. You never know which of you do everything the same and you think that you've got your SEO research down and that, well, why isn't this showing up in the top 3?
Right.
But then this one that I did, like I did one but it was a copycat recipe. I did like the broccoli cheese rice at Cheddar's and it's like skyrocketing. So
You never know.
you
What do
never
you
know.
think?
So I just keep pumping out new content and then updating that old stuff. And I
Right.
deleted a bunch of old posts that were like giveaways and things that were just not going anywhere and ugly and never didn't do anything. So I think by updating that old content and then continuing to create new, it's going to help my revenue.
So what do you think? What's the hardest part? Is it when because I don't do any recipes on my site, and I think when I think for food blogging, I think it has to be the photography. Did you already know photography when you started that? Is it hard?
No, again, Stephanie, thank God for Stephanie. Thank God for plain chicken. That girl literally, she changed I met her at a blogging conference and I was on Blogger at the time. I wasn't even on WordPress. And I was
Oh,
like, I don't think I can have a pretty blog because I'm on Blogger. And she's like, she grabbed me and she's like, girl, she's like, I got you. Because she was on Blogger at the time. And
oh,
so she told me about this website where I could get a theme to make it look pretty. And she changed my life from there, like literally changed my life in
I
terms
love conferences for meeting people like that.
of getting me on track. And like she and I have we're still very good friends and stayed in touch and everything. But like, I forgot the question already.
The hardest part.
Oh, the hardest part. I basically had Stephanie teach me everything. Like I went down to her house for 3 days, 3 or 4 days, and we took pictures together. She was like, "What are some recipes that you have a hard time with pictures?" I'm like, "All of them." And but then like brown food. I have this chicken casserole with Ritz crackers on top. So brown on brown on brown. And I was like, what do I do? She's like, a can of 99-cent parsley is your best friend. And I was like, okay. So
Wow.
we took pictures and like we would make the dish and then she would like set it out and like plate everything. And she showed me and explained it to me. And then it was like, then she took pictures and showed me as she was taking the pictures. And then I took the pictures. And then that's what we did for a few days is we just cooked and took pictures together. And she was like, no, do it this way, move over here. There's like a spoon shot where she's holding a spoon and it's like, it's a Stephanie picture. And I do it all the time. I'm like, there's my plain chicken picture, my little food, my spoon shot. But having like, okay, I have a set list of pictures, but like then editing, she showed me how to edit. Like the first time we sat next to each other and I watched her do it. Then the second time I did it with her telling me what to do. And then the third time I did it on my own and showed her. And I learned better that way. Like I can't take a photography class. Like
Right. I don't think
it's
I could either. Photography is like, I think about SEO as almost science, but photography is so art. It's almost
yeah,
an
I
art.
don't have that artsy eye either. Like photography is probably the toughest thing. It's a struggle for me to like lay it all out in some beautiful, and they just like throw some blueberries down and it looks magical, and like a napkin, it looks like a used napkin and blueberries and it's like perfection. And I do it and it looks like a homeless person at Waffle House. Like it's
Well, maybe next time I'm doing some travel photography that's not working out, I could just throw some blueberries.
there you go. Well, that's like Nidra is a friend of mine. Her blog is Adventure Mom blog, and her photography is, I mean, it's scenery,
Right.
travel, but it's so good. And I'm just like, yeah, I don't have that. Like,
Makes a difference.
I am on the struggle bus with photography, like coming up with recipes and writing them up and creating them and kind of like making them my own. And I love the SEO research. Like keyword research is like my favorite thing. I love doing that. The writing is fine. I don't know. I plug away at it while I'm watching my murder shows, but the photography is the hardest thing for me. I just don't have that designed eye. So every once in a while I go, ooh, this one looks good. Like,
But you're proving the point that maybe for somebody who's thinking they want to get into food blogging, but they don't have necessarily that eye, they can learn some tricks from somebody, but don't let that hold them back.
oh yeah, like my biggest thing, what I do if I have a recipe I'm not quite sure about, like I'm not sure how to take the pictures, like when I make a quiche, I go and look at Stephanie's quiche pictures and I just have it there next to me. And then I take a picture and I look at it and I'm like, does it look like I stage it? I format.
So maybe
like
somebody could just make a Pinterest board of ideas about how to
I go to
photograph
Pinterest.
the food.
if I'm looking for, if I've got a recipe I'm not sure how to photograph, I go to Pinterest and look and see what other people have done. I'm not copying what they've done, but I'm just using it to get ideas of like, oh, well, that's a way to show it, or that's a way to plate it, or I can shoot it overhead instead of sideways, or
that's fantastic.
But that's where I get, it's a little cheating as far as like, I'm not coming up with everything out of my head, but who does? Like nothing's
Nobody,
new.
not even the great masters.
No. So I just kind of use like, I look at other people's stuff and go, oh, well, that kind of gives me some ideas. And then I kind of make it my own from there. And I'm not a great photographer. I'm not a great chef. I'm not a great photographer. I'm not the best writer, but I'm good enough at everything that I can make some money.
I love that. I love that.
And then I'm single, and all these guys that I'm like talking to, this is my soapbox pet peeve. They hear that I'm a recipe creator and they're like, "Oh, are you going to cook for me?"
No, I cook all day. You're going to take me out.
Like, are you going to weld something for me? Like, do I ask you to do your job on a date? No, I'm not going to cook for you. No. Get out of here with that. Am I going to make you treat water like at the wastewater treatment plant? No. So yeah, people are always like, "Ooh, you going to cook for me?" No, I cook for my dog. That's it. Me and dogs.
That's so funny. So just to wrap up, I think the things that I learned here, go on Guys Grocery Games if you have the opportunity, because it's amazing. So that's the first thing I learned.
Oh my gosh, the best day ever.
But don't be scared to really niche down. Don't be afraid if you're not the very best at one or two of the things it takes to be a successful blogger. Don't let that get in your way, because success can still be yours.
Yeah.
And if you have a full-time job, even if you have a super successful full-time job, but you want the freedom, it's yours for the taking.
Oh, that was the best day of second best day. Okay, best day was Guy Fieri. Second best day was when I put my notice in. I was at a job where I was hiring influencers for brands. So I was like doing my job all day and all night. And the day I was like, I'm going to quit in August. And then I was like, maybe I'll quit in July. And then I was like, June 1st. Bye. It was the best day. I still message one of my good friends that works at the same company. I'm just like, she's like, what are you doing? I was like, taking a nap. But like having a scheduling things out for me has really made it easier for me to be able to do what I want to do and take time off and like have some fun. But yeah, like if you like a lot of people that are in my shoe in the blogging world have a second income, they have a spouse or whatever. And I didn't have that luxury. So, but I made it work. Like, and I'm 2 years in and loving it.
That's
I'll
amazing.
never go back to work for anybody else.
I hear that. No way. No, not going to happen.
My therapist told me I need to get a job because then I'll be out more with boys or people. And I was just like, no, I'm not getting a job. I'll do a lot of things, but that ain't one of them.
Well, there's other ways, right? Hobbies, other things.
I'm like, I'm not getting a job. No.
Not where somebody else is the boss.
No. And I hire stuff done too. That's another thing. If you hate something, hire it. I hate cleaning my house. So I hire it done because I can make more money on the computer working while she's cleaning. And like, I hired out videos for a while because it's like, I just hated doing them. And so it's like, if you have something you really hate, find somebody else to do it and then spend your time on the stuff you like.
I'm with that. I hate Pinterest. Like I like the value of Pinterest and I think Pinterest is great, but I just can't stand pinning all the right things at the right time to the right places. So that was what I hired out for.
Yeah, I don't even do my social media is kind of sad. I keep my presence up, but my Pinterest numbers are growing. So,
well, because everybody's looking for copycat. I'm addicted to, I don't know if you have it in Cincinnati. I'm addicted to PF Chang lettuce wraps.
Oh, I have that recipe.
I probably used yours. That's the copycat that I go. This is my go-to copycat. So anyway, thank you so much, Heather, for sharing your journey with us. I really appreciate it. And yes, go check out her book. I'll put the link right down below. Yay! Thanks, Heather.
It's a great cookbook. It's really easy to follow too. So it's all cooking for one, but you can double it to two, and it's fun and easy.
Awesome.